A new CBS News investigation explores how those who still don't believe the 2020 election results are affecting the one happening this year. There are nearly 80 officials working in election oversight positions across 7 swing states who are considered election deniers by CBS News. That means they either don't believe in the 2020 results, refuse to certify that election, publicly supported the January 6th Capitol riots, or have pushed election conspiracies. CBS News political correspondent Caitlin Huey-Burns has been looking into this with our investigative unit and is here with us now. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
You traveled out to Nevada as part of this investigation.
Yeah.
Talk to us about what that trip revealed to you.
Yeah, well, as you know, Nevada is a critical battleground state, always has been. Washoe County is a swing county in a swing state. And when you think of Nevada, you think, yes, they are consequential when it comes to the presidential election, often balance of power in the U.S. Senate. But one of the most, arguably important races happening there is one you may not have heard of, which is for county commission. Now, the county commission essentially oversees elections. They appoint the top election official, they set the budget for elections, and most importantly, they certify elections. And there is a very hotly contested commission race happening in Washoe, which includes Reno. This is the second largest city in Nevada, or county in Nevada, so critical area there. And there is a wealthy right-wing donor activist who has espoused all sorts of election conspiracy theories and has been promoted by people like Steve Bannon and others, trying to kind of put his thumb on the scale in this race. He has spent heavily on this commission race. He has really essentially said that he wants to shape this commission. He just needs one more vote to have a majority to be able to go his way.
It's a good example of wealthy donors swaying local elections that are going to have national implications potentially.
Yeah, and there's a reason for it, because this is where it's all happening, right? I mean, we interviewed him and he essentially acknowledged to us, yeah, lots of people are paying attention to the House, the Senate, the presidency, but this is where you really make a difference.
Now, you spoke with Nevada's Secretary of State, who is a Democrat.
Right.
Obviously, for partisan reasons, would be concerned about this, but it runs deeper than that. What did he tell you?
That's right. Of course, he oversees elections in the state, but elections are run at the county level. And so he was very concerned about this type of activism in these races. Let's take a listen to what he had to say.
I think it's important to realize that we are in a national election. That national election is be run at the local level. And at that local level, they can completely shut down the election for the state and for the nation.
And that just underscores, what we're talking about here in the stakes, right? We don't have a national election. Elections are run at the local level, and they're not even run at the state level. They're, administered by local officials. So this is kind of the frontier to look at when we're talking about election denialism.
And all of this comes as we continue to hear prominent Republican leaders across the country not commit to accepting the results of the 2024 elections.
That's exactly right. And we've seen that recently with prominent Republicans who are supporting Donald Trump. So they are kind of top surrogates for him on high-profile shows or, appearing with him during his court cases, not committing to accepting the results of this election. And that's something we should watch for, with every candidate, right? Are you committed to these results? We also know that the RNC has been very active in filing lawsuits across the country. In Nevada, for example, they filed a lawsuit challenging Nevada law, which allows you to count mail-in ballots a few days after Election Day, as long as they're postmarked by Election Day. They want to now prevent that, Republicans do. So that's another kind of thing to watch for, are all of these lawsuits preemptively ahead of this election.
The biggest debate going into November may be, what is the definition of a fair election? Because that's what we keep hearing these Republican leaders say. Well, if it's fair, I'll support the results.
The big if, right? And so as you well note, that there have been all of these caveats, conditions to supporting the election, and something that you and I are going to be watching and following and holding people accountable for.
Yes, indeed. Caitlin Huey-Burns, thank you for that, and to the investigative unit.